Khalid Al-Khater with me here in studio, an economist and research fellow at Cambridge University. Nice to have you with us. When you look at the numbers, as I'm sure you do, how would you describe the state of Qatar's economy right now, 3 months or 100 days into the blockade? I mean, they had to dip into some of the reserves at the start when this happened.
But that's possible. However, if you want me to give you a general picture of what's happening, the blockade can impact Qatar through three main channels: real sector, financial sector, and then confidence. Through real sector, basically through trade and transport and tourism industry or tourism sector. As far as trade, the impact should be limited because we in the GCC failed to diversify our economy after half a century of exporting oil, so the impact should be limited. And the intra-trade within the GCC remained limited, around 10%. We import from UAE about 9%. We used to import from UAE about 9%, mainly re-export through Dubai port, and from the largest economy in the region, Saudi Arabia, about 4%. And when you compare it with Germany, with its smaller neighboring states, 60%, then the trade can have an impact. However, it's concentrated in certain important material products for the consumer, such as poultry, dairy products, vegetable, and some construction material. But the government have moved fast and intervened when the market mechanism impaired by the sanction and played its role as an importer.
They seem to be prepared for this because it swung into action very quickly, didn't it?
As an importer and a distributor and the price regulator, and diversified sources and means of import, and opened a new trade line and utilized the giant seaports, which was opened recently, to bypass the blockading country and to go directly to the sources of import, and to ensure continuity of supply of products within a reasonable range. And there has been also diversity and quality choice for the consumer.
Khalid, I've had a question from one of our viewers who's written in on Twitter, Ahmed, who's said the question is, what are these countries gaining from blockading Qatar? As I said initially when I was over at the video wall, I said that it was aimed at basically trying to choke the economy, but it's not doing that, isn't it?
So what are they gaining of songs? And they have used everything. I think the initial idea was like to pressure the country to subdue or to their demand. However, I think they did not calculate it very well. As I told you, particularly trade sanction, hysterically even, if you look at them, they failed to achieve their purposes. With North Africa, with there is a blockade on Palestinian people in Gaza for over a decade now. Usually, they fail to achieve their purpose, and usually their purpose is political. So even though in the case of Qatar, even Qatar economy is very solid, and still we have the sea, and we can, as I told you, the government came over the blockade, and there is a continuity of supply of essential products. And we advise also to continue to diversify sources and means of import, expand storage capacity beyond 6 months to 2 years, and combat any possible monopolistic practice. As far as the financial sector,
just briefly, if you don't mind. Sorry, we've got some more things.
Financial sector is well protected by virtue of counter-cyclical, prudential, and conservative credit policy adopted by the central bank early in the financial cycle and the oil cycle 2003-2004. And the purpose of this is to limit excessive borrowing internally and also externally by the bank, and the buildup of imbalances, which led to the global financial crisis at the end.
I'm going to have to jump in there, Khalid, because we've got a few more stories to bring our viewers. But thank you so much for joining us.